Vincent, Wisconsin. I'm Falon and I'm here with Mims. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great too. It is finally spring.
Yeah, I hope it stays that way.
I'm over winter.
Yeah, me too. So we have a big announcement. We are going to be changing up our format for our episodes, and nobody panic because it's not like that crazy. It's not going to be a huge deal. But we, moving forward, are going to focus on only one case per episode, just so that we have all the attention and focus on that specific case. We don't want to, try to be fast about it. We want to take our time, and we just think it's a better way to, like I said, focus on that specific case. Yeah. So moving forward, we're gonna do one case per week. You're not gonna miss out on a weekly episode being released. Nothing's gonna change as far as day or time. It's just gonna be maybe a little bit shorter, and then more focused.
Yeah. And then we'll both still be on every episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just only one of us will be telling the story. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm gonna start today. And I'm going to start with some true crime news. This last week on Wednesday, March 7th, no, it wasn't March 17th. Wednesday was the 15th. The article came out on the 17th. There was a reported shooting last Wednesday, and they didn't really release any information at first, but by Friday they did in fact say that the Allegheny County Sheriff's Department identified people that were found dead, and it was an elderly couple, Albert Meyer, 75, and his wife, Beverly Meyer, 71. And it was a murder-suicide.
That is really crazy. And they probably don't know which one did which, right?
It was the husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, and like you're old.
Yeah. The authorities went to their home on County Road S after one of the Myers failed to show up to their scheduled appointments. They had doctor's appointment or something they didn't go to. And so somebody called like a welfare check, and they went there and they found them dead.
Wow.
The investigation shows that Albert killed his wife and then took his own life. And the sheriff's office has confirmed it was a domestic abuse related killing. So he urges you to come forward if you know anyone that's affected by domestic abuse.
Yeah, like we've covered before, domestic abuse and violence doesn't have any restrictions when it comes to age, race, sexuality. It really doesn't matter.
Not at all, no. And that's what, when I saw the story, I was like, I remember when we were talking about it with Harbor House,
yeah.
And I was surprised that so many elderly people still had domestic abuse problems.
Right.
And then I had read a separate article related to this incident, and was saying sometimes it's because of like loss of cognitive abilities, if they're starting to have dementia, things like that. They might not be aware of what's going on, what they're doing. So that adds to the problem.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye on your loved ones. If something seems off, try to get them some help.
Yes, please.
Alright, and then today I am going to be discussing the case of Theodore Egge. He has been missing since January 13th of 2023. And my sources today are WBAY.com, NBCnews.com, and WeAreGreenBay.com. So this is a very recent case, so if you have any information, it's still one that's very solvable because this basically just happened. Theodore Egge is a 35-year-old Caucasian male. He was living in Crivitz in Marinette County with 4 roommates when he went missing. He's originally from Green Bay. He's been doing some couch surfing with friends,
It happens.
It happens. And then he did really like being like out in the woods and nature, his sister said. So he went out there to live in this cabin with his 4 roommates, which sounds really nice to me.
Yeah, just to get away.
Yeah. He is a 5'11", he weighs around 198 pounds. He has blue eyes and he has no hair.
My type of guy.
Yep. Just bald.
Just bald. Give me hairless.
So, on Saturday, January 13th, Theodore's roommate, one of his roommates, called his parents to say that he was concerned because Theodore had not returned home.
Right.
The roommate also filed a missing persons report right away on Saturday.
Okay, well, wow, they're on top of it.
Yeah, they were definitely like concerned and did all the right things right away.
I love it.
Which is good to see because we don't see a lot of that.
Right.
On Thursday, January 12th, Theodore had been driving his roommate's 2007 Jeep Liberty. And at about 10:45 that night, he can be seen on footage getting gas at Quick Trip. And then this was in Crivitz, and then he was seen driving north. So there are like still pictures from him at Quick Trip that they shared with his missing persons flyer, so we can share them. The next day, he was spotted in Applestein, which is about 20 minutes away from Crivitz. That's like if you're going from Crivitz driving up to Michigan, Applestein is on the way. There's a lot of waterfalls out there.
Good to know. Good to know.
So Theodore's sister Samantha told Dateline that someone reported seeing Theodore on the morning of Friday the 13th. His car was out of gas, and this gentleman gave him half a gallon of gas and said, "Hey, meet me at the gas station up the road and I'll fill you up."
Oh, okay.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And then the man told her for some reason Theodore didn't follow him to the gas station.
Okay.
You're not gonna get very far on half a gallon of gas.
No.
Like down the street.
Right.
So the roommate indicated that Theodore's car had eventually completely ran out of gas on Friday. And the police confirmed this because they located the car out of gas on the side of the road.
Right, as we suspected would happen.
Right, because you can't go anywhere on half a gallon of gas.
Right.
And instead of asking for help this time, when he ran into somebody, he just asked for directions. He said he was trying to get back home. He asked the guy where boat landing 7 was, and the guy told him, "Hey, walk up this way," and that's where he was living at the time, was on boat landing 7 road. But that was the last time that anybody saw Theodore.
Right.
Was when he asked for directions.
That's just so crazy to me. And we say this like every single time when something goes missing recently, that it's just mind-boggling on how somebody can go missing with all this, you know, the surveillance that's going on and cameras everywhere. So it always blows my mind.
Yeah, because he was seen on camera at Quick Trip. He was seen on camera heading north. But then there isn't really much in Applestein except for like some local bars.
Right. So like the boonies is really just wooded areas, and why would you have, you know, surveillance cameras out there?
People might have trail cams if he was in the woods, because I know I have family up there, they have trail cams. Other
Right.
people might, so if you live up there,
Check it out.
yeah.
If you haven't looked recently, you could be holding on to some really key evidence.
So they go on to say that they did conduct a search on Tuesday the 17th that included law enforcement officers, members of the Applestein Fire Department, Amberg Fire Department, Middle Inlet Fire Department, the Wisconsin DNR, and their drones, volunteers, canines, friends, and family members. Officials believe Theodore left Northway Drive, possibly walking into the woods or down a forest road, and they have checked the known cameras in the area with no such thing.
Okay. This just seems really like erratic behavior to just like, kind of just abandon your car, but also like let it go to E when you had a plan to fill it up, and then all of a sudden you ask for directions for the boat landing, and then you're not at that said boat landing. So it just seems really weird to me.
Definitely. So So on February 6th, the police posted an update on the case, and they said they believed, based on witness observations, he was last seen walking north on the snowmobile trail, crossing Bennett Road, heading towards Benson Lake Road in Athelstane. And investigators do not suspect foul play at this time. With Theodore's sister, Samantha told Dateline she feels like it could go either way.
Yeah, it's just really hard to know when you don't know anything.
Yeah, you can't rule anything out, and I think it's weird. I mean, it's reassuring to the community to say we don't suspect foul play.
Right.
But when you don't have any evidence of what happened, how do you know?
Exactly.
But back to your point about it being erratic, Samantha did tell Dateline that her brother suffers from a mental illness, and at the time of his disappearance, he was not on his medication.
Yeah.
So he could have wandered off and not be totally off, she said.
Right. This is like ringing bells for me for the last episode that we covered, and kind of a similar situation where family was like, yeah, she needs help. Like, we know she's an adult, but she needs help.
Yeah, exactly. But Samantha still believes her brother's case should be investigated thoroughly, just like anyone else's would be, and I completely agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
She said it's been really hard to get the police to look into further options, and she believes that officials have just written it off at this point.
But you don't have any answers, so how could you write it off?
Yeah, and in some cases, the police do a terrible job. But in some cases, they're just not telling you every action that they're taking, so it feels like they're not doing anything.
Right.
But they could be doing stuff in the background.
Right. Right. It's hard to know because they may not want to disclose everything, and that could be helpful because, you know, if they ask for help in the future, then a lot of people will know like certain aspects of the case, and then it's just kind of like a free-for-all at that point. But then the family is clueless.
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword for sure.
It really is. It's a really tough spot for everybody to be in. So, Samantha did tell Dateline that the Jeep her brother was driving around, she confirmed that it was found abandoned on Benson Lake Road in Athelstane, the same place he was last seen looking for directions. And she thinks that the car should have been examined further because it got released to the owner, which would have been one of the roommates, without any investigation into the vehicle being done.
I can't believe that.
It happens all the time.
I can't believe that. Yeah, I was just listening to another podcast because I'm fully obsessed with true crime, if you don't know. But it reminds me of the Burger Chef case of like the cops were like, this is a robbery, and that's it. And they didn't take any pictures, they didn't like do any testing, they didn't have like their CSI people come in and like do anything. And it's a place of food, so the next day they cleaned everything up. And everything was like, for years and years, nobody had answers until, you know, if you guys don't know the story, go listen to it. But it's crazy.
Yeah. And there was another case that I was listening to recently where the wife was shot inside of the vehicle. The wife and the daughter were shot, but the daughter survived. Well, so the husband eventually wanted the vehicle back because to give to his daughter. But she wanted it.
Oh, she wanted it. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's still weird. I'd be like, burn that bitch to the ground.
Yeah, so other people were mad, like what if there was still evidence in the vehicle? But they held it for years, so it wasn't like, oh, hey,
Just next day.
Next day, go
Right.
get your car.
Go get a car wash today, you know?
Yeah, scrub down any possible fingerprints inside. We don't do that up here in the woods.
Right. I feel like the best rule of thumb is go above and beyond, because above and beyond will not hurt you in the end. Not covering all of your bases is just gonna, okay, you didn't need all that, but it will help.
Right.
And if you didn't have all that, then it could bite you in the ass. And I would rather be like, I have all of this case files rather than I have nothing to work off of.
Right. That's like in the 80s when they were collecting like this blood and DNA evidence, even though DNA testing did exist yet.
Mhm.
They still collected it.
Right.
But now we're just like, now we should.
No. Now that we have the resources,
Yeah.
let's use
all
them.
the resources.
Yeah.
We have all the resources. There's no reason any crime should be going unsolved.
Exactly.
But they are. So Samantha also said that there was a phone found in the Jeep, and she noted that Theodore did not have a phone of his own, but was also borrowing his roommate's phone. And she thinks the phone should have been looked into further as well, but the detectives said there wasn't enough substantial evidence to get a court order to pin the phone.
I have mixed feelings about that, but okay.
I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, can the roommate just give them permission?
Yeah.
Do we have to have a court order?
Right. Right. Unless they're, I feel like if they're not involved in that, I was in that predicament, I'd be like, just take my phone.
Yeah, exactly. If my roommate's missing, take my phone. Take my phone.
Yeah, do everything.
Go on the Google location, track the movements, like whatever you need to do, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna set aside my weird porn lookups and I'm just gonna get through this.
Don't judge me for my search history.
No.
Especially our search
Yeah,
history.
yeah, I know. I think about that all the time. Just like my search history is so like bleak. It's like it has to be for this.
Yeah. But if we ever get investigators,
I swear,
like,
I've done nothing wrong.
So, Dateline did reach out to Marinette County Sheriff's Office by phone and email for comment, but they have not heard back. And Samantha told Dateline that her family is begging for answers. They know that the outcome may not be him returning home alive, but they really just want closure. And at the time of the episode, he'd been missing for a month and a half, so she figured at that point that he's probably unfortunately passed. But that's not the point, because he deserves to be found and his story deserves to be heard.
Yeah, exactly.
So Samantha does run a page called Missing Persons Theodore Egge. That's EGGE. And this is dedicated to finding the answers about her brother's disappearance. Her family is offering a $5,000 reward for any information that leads to his whereabouts. And the Marinette County Sheriff's Office would like people to reach out to them if they have any tips at all. Their phone number is 715-732-7627. Because it is possible, like, what if he really just had a mental break? He's just at somebody else's house.
Yeah, either way, we would like to find out where Theodore is, and at least that he's okay, so that his family can, rightfully so, be okay.
It's a
knowing
really
that.
confusing area to just drive around in and everything though, so, and so many woods, and like I said, there's like waterfalls, and rivers and streams, and so much area to search.
Something natural could have happened to him. It doesn't even have to be to the extent of like what we cover on here, but I mean, a slip and fall in that type of environment is deadly, so.
Yeah. So if anybody has any information, sees anything weird, like we said, if you're up in the Crivitz, Appleseed area, check your trail cam.
Yes, that could be more helpful than you think.
Yeah, definitely.
Great job. Yeah, I'm glad that you do these because these are really hard for me.
So you think people are hard for you?
Yes, they are.
I'm obsessed.
At least
I'm
you
like,
are.
I'm gonna fucking find somebody.
I hope you do someday. Just bring that person home.
I'm gonna bring them home with me.
Yeah. You're adopted.
I found you.
Yeah.
Now
You're mine.
You're coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Well, we love you guys.
We do.
Bye.
Viaja y